Welcome to our Business in the News presentation. We'll be covering BHS. We are Josh, Emily, Jake, Manal, T and Stephanie. When BHS went into administration, it was seen as something of an anomaly, due to the British government not being concerned with the job loss and scandal that came with its descent into financial ruin. Understandably, the government were focusing on Tata Steel, who was ceasing their productions when considered a higher loss. Miss Sairy went and made the point that while BHS has thousands of staff, it was wrong to make comparisons to the steel industry, which has a complex supply chain and highly trained workers. Smaller companies such as Pretty Polly Tights, who relied on BHS, went into administration. Sir Philip Green received little pressure from the Tory party due to his influences with such things as Whitehall efficiencies in August 2010. Labour MP Frank Field suggested Sir Philip knighthood be rescinded and that honours were designed for people in public life that we can look up to. He added, if it turns out that he has behaved in a less than model way of BHS and the pension fund, it's clear that we ought to use that to move a system where honours are not freeholds but leaseholds. After BHS administration, MPs saw little point in action such as Chapter 11 bankruptcy, giving the company a chance to restructure themselves much like General Motors or Blockbuster.
Is it sufficient for business leaders to do anything for profit if they obey the law, or do they have high responsibilities? This question had been raised following Theresa May, the UK Prime Minister, had pledged to make our economy work for everyone by getting tough on irresponsible behaviour in big businesses. From this, Mr Chappell and RAL were shambolic, unfit owners for BHS, and Sir Philip was wrong to pass responsibility for a weakened company and its pension schemes to them. Leadership failures and personal greed is what led to the collapse of BHS. As a result, also, 11,000 people lost their jobs. The British High Street is changing, and in these turbulent times for retailers, BHS has fallen as another victim of a seismic shift. Who next do we think may be affected? House of Fraser? Potentially Debenhams?
BHS closed 163 shops after rescue deal falls apart. This resulted in 11,000 workers losing their jobs, 8,000 of them being staff, and 3,000 contractors such as Arcadia staff working Dorothy Perkins and Wallace Concessions. Anna Sowerby, who's the business minister, tells Parliament that government stands ready to offer assistance through a job centre to reduce the number of people that will be unemployed. Marks and Spencer is way ahead of this metric with an average score of 67.5%, followed by Debenhams 38.9% and then BHS 28.5%. BHS have difficulty competing with large retailers such as M&S and Debenhams. The average BHS shopper was a woman over 50 years old. This demographic is becoming more aspirational, especially in its clothing choices, and BHS needed to respond to this by modernising its old-fashioned image. Many said that BHS was not appealing to a broad enough section of the public. BHS failed to update their image and adapt to consumer needs. This is one of the reasons for the collapse of the business.
Overall, BHS failed to segment the market and was unclear to who they were targeting. This could perhaps be seen as to why the business was slowly failing before the corruption of Sir Philip Green, although this did actually work to their slight advantage, with the new release of technology such as smartphones, 3G, 4G, with most people at the age of 18 to 25 using online shopping. There's a survey below showing in 2014 the increase of technology use within the older generation. This worked to BHS's advantage as their online site was being accessed for a variety of ages.
The legal factors of BHS. Legal factors include health and safety, equal opportunities, advertising standards, employee and consumer rights and laws, product labelling and safety, and tax based on the business's profits. Philip Green found a loophole in the system that allowed him to pay less tax using offshore bank accounts. He did this by selling BHS stores to companies owned by his wife, Lady Green, which were based in Jersey. Doing this allowed them to pay less tax for the stores in Jersey than she would in England. Furthermore, she also charged rent for BHS to use the stores. This meant that BHS made less profit due to paying this rent, so they also paid even less tax. This is entirely legal, but is it ethical?
In 2000, Sir Philip Green bought the brand BHS for £200 million. Cheaper rivals such as Primark put a strain on BHS's financial performance around the time of 2005. In 2014, BHS made a crash loss of £21 million, and in 2015, BHS was sold by Philip Green for only £1. Now, MPs are launching investigations into the practices of Philip Green and Dominic Chappell following the demise of the brand to find out the reasons why the company went into administration. One of the main reasons that BHS struggled following the domain of Philip Green was the introduction of cheaper rivals such as Primark. The identity of BHS was somewhat unclear, as it was labelled by many consumers as a furniture store, even with the introduction of its clothing range. As the business's market became less transparent, rivals such as Primark started to thrive. Due to their value for money products, consumers that were once solely loyal to BHS as a brand began to develop an interest in cheaper retailers, and this factor decreased the attractiveness of BHS.